When you're ready, just checking we're all here, we will press play on the playlist and just keep it off shuffle. Welcome to your mat. We're going to start in a seat, so whatever's comfy for you. Ideally, you're elevated somehow. Perhaps it's cross-legged, or maybe you want to go on your knees with your feet under your sacrum, your hips. It's up to you. Just slowly settling down into your seat. Taking a few deep breaths. No rush, right? This is your practice. So even if I start moving and you guys want to stay still, it's the beauty of online as well. And so really just noticing if there's any small movements you want to make. Trying to just shift your hips a little bit side to side so you can feel your sitting bones, the two little bones in your butt. And we're trying to find the center. So slowly shifting a little less until you find that center point. Dropping the weight down into your hips, down into the mat. And then taking your attention really slowly up the spine. So from the base of your spine, finding that beautiful center line. And what you may notice is you open the chest just a little. The shoulders maybe roll back. And perhaps you tuck the chin just a little to keep that straight line running all the way up the spine to the crown of your head. Maybe finding a mudra with your hands, which is just a posture in your hands. My favorite is index finger to thumb. We can talk about mudras another time, but it's nice to put your hands in a mudra. It really helps the shift of energy. So ideally, if you're looking for a bit of grounding, if you've been feeling a little anxious, a little bit all over the place, palms face down on your thighs or your knees. If instead you're feeling a little heavy, a little slow, perhaps palms face up, inviting in some lift. And gently starting to connect with your breath. And perhaps with each exhale, your eyelids start to lower until they close. And we're shifting our attention now from our outer world and all the things happening around us, from the mind that's busy with thoughts, deep, deep shifting into our breath, into our internal world, going deeper. Inhaling and exhaling through your nostrils if you can. And take perhaps whatever variation in your breath you need this morning. Maybe you need a few deep breaths. Maybe an open mouth exhale. Letting go of everything else that's happening right now in your life. Instead, focusing your attention on your body here on the mat, knowing everything else will still be there, but you've given yourself this time just to be with yourself. Noticing the breath, whereabouts it's sitting this morning, noticing without judgment. Noticing without correcting it, because there is no right and wrong in your breath. The practice of yoga encourages awareness, which is just a noticing and observing. Noticing if the breath is sitting down in the belly. Maybe you feel it through the tips of your nostrils. The nostrils are the gatekeeper to the breath, the watchman. Noticing every breath. And as the mind wanders, just gently encouraging your thoughts and your attention back to your breath. We'll take a moment here to set an intention, perhaps for today's class, perhaps for the rest of your week. With each inhale, breathing in that intention. With each exhale, letting go of anything that may be hindering you reaching that intention, perhaps fear. And when you're ready, gently bringing your hands together at heart center. And pressing the edge of your thumbs gently into the sternum. A bit harder for us ladies, but And focusing your attention back to your intention. Letting it fill you up. When you're ready, gently dropping the chin to the chest, bowing our head to our heart space, honoring our intention, and opening up the back of the neck. Next, exhale, gently releasing the hands, perhaps back down to where they were, but keep that chin dropped. Opening up the back of the neck. When you're ready, moving from side to side, the chin reaches the right shoulder, dropping back down to the left shoulder, or whichever side works for you. Maybe finding a gentle roll backwards. And so we're starting to open up the neck. Noticing your breath, trying to move with the breath. It's like a dance. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, dropping down. Just a few more. So the neck is our 5th chakra. Just counting them. Yeah, 5th. It is our spot for communication. So by opening up the neck, we're encouraging clear communication, both from ourselves to give to others, speak clearly, but also to hear and understand others clearly. The color is blue, and the element is space. So finding some space now in the neck. Our neck is so strong, it's holding up our head all day, every day, besides when we're sleeping. So we've got to give her some love. Noticing if there's a spot you need to sit still in. Just one more round and we'll meet back in the center. And so the crown of head will stack nice and straight on top of the neck, the spine. Take a moment to connect back with your breath. Noticing perhaps even now if it feels a little different than when we started. Inhale, gently bring the arms up either side of us. Starting to reach up. Oh, and yawn if you need to, a bit of a stretch. Reaching up to the sky, perhaps you lock those fingers, those thumbs together and extend the fingers out. And exhale back down, and maybe finding a bit of a back bend. And I'll show you what I mean. Just opening up the chest. So we're going to start finding a bit of movement. Right, back bending, opening up the chest. As we inhale and back the same way. Arms come down. This time hands in front, round the back. Inhale up. And exhale, expanding back. So really stretching, the arms are active. Rounding that back as the arms come in front of you. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, opening up the chest. Great work, you guys. One more round. We have intention in every movement. Beautiful. I'm going to remove my blanket or bolster or whatever it is you're sitting on. Knees come together at the back of the mat. Ankles under your butt, and we're going to gently start to walk out, finding child's pose. And so here, we're trying to keep that nice, straight spine in our neck. So we're not dropping our head all the way down, keeping our ears in line with our upper arms. Arms reaching forward, sitting bones trying to be heavy on the heels. And staying here for a moment, finding your breath. Perhaps you're feeling some pinching in your hips. That's okay. Breathe into that space. This is a great stretch for the lower back. And just our back in general, we're reaching up the mat. So maybe gently crawling your fingers a little further forward. We're finding space so that eventually we can actually shuffle our body a little further forward on our thighs, and our forehead will reach the ground without dropping. Coming back to your breath. Now, if I was there behind you, I'm placing both my hands on your lower back and pressing it down towards the mat. So perhaps visualizing that. And letting your breath find some space. Filling your inner world with prana, your life force, your breath. We are in no rush. You have everything you need within you. Everything else is just cherries on top. 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. Walk our hands nice and slowly back towards our hips. So we're sitting back on our heels. Interlacing the hands at the base of the spine and sending them down the back, opening up the chest towards the ceiling. Again, encouraging space. And so our chest is our heart space. The color is green. And she is our center of compassion, empathy, and love. And exhale, keeping those hands interlaced. We're folding back down towards the mat, but this time the arms will reach towards the sky. Now watch if the ego comes up, wanting you to push further than your body's asking you today. So it's a balancing act, listening to your body, but finding that line of growth, right? We're just sitting on the edge of growth. And exhale, gently releasing the hands. Dropping our hands beside our hips, letting our shoulders roll forward. Notice the sensation in the chest. In our hands, perhaps. Nice. Inhale, gently lifting back up. We're walking our hands in front of us. We're finding a little bit of movement Find your tabletop. So wrists stacked under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of feet really planting down, navel comes into spine. Hold here for a moment. This is the flat spine that we found at the beginning of class in our breath, all the way from the base of spine to the crown of head. Inhale, drop the belly open, the chest, lift the tailbone towards the sky. And watch dropping down into the arms, press into the mat, open up the chest. And exhale, suction the belly round the back. And finding your own movements here. So perhaps you actually want to flow and you find some hip circles, I guess is what we could call them, where we're not strict up and down. There's a bit of side movement inviting in. What does your body need today? Perhaps you want to sit in cow or cat. There is no right or wrong. Noticing, that's what we're here for. Gently starting to shift the weight into the right hand. Bernie, you'll know where we're going. Inhale. We're going to peel open the chest to the right side of the room. Right arm extends to the sky, twisting at the core. And then exhale, we'll slip that right hand underneath our left arm. And right side of the head comes to the ground and the shoulder. And so here we're starting to find some twisting in the spine. Use the tops of the feet to keep you nice and steady in your lower back. Exhale, pressing back up, and the right arm will reach again to the sky. So we're flossing out the spine, finding your flow. Exhale, back down. Option here, if you'd like, left arm comes to the sky when you're on the ground. Option again, left hand comes to the outer edge of the right thigh. So we're finding a small bind, twisting, really encouraging the left side of the chest to open up. And exhale, pressing back up when you're ready. Making this your own. What do you need? Do you want to just stay on the ground? Do you want a bit of a faster flow? This is your practice. 2 more rounds if you need. And so this is increasing mobility in our spine as we get older. Which is so important to help prevent problems, is what I'll say. When you're ready, finding tabletop again, perhaps just shaking out the arms, sitting back on your heels, finding a little. I do have a name for this movement, but I won't say it right now. But just opening up the arms again and back into your tabletop. When you're ready, shifting the weight to the right hand, left arm to the sky. And threading that right hand under the left arm. Left ear comes to. Did I say that wrong? I think I said that wrong. Sorry, guys. Right and left. Inhale, lifting back up. And threading the left arm under the right arm. And finding whatever variations you need. Maybe the right arm extends to the sky. Maybe the right hand comes to the outer edge of the left hip. Open up that right chest. And exhale, pressing back up, finding your own flow. Knowing that we're in a world of yang, of action, of doing. And yeah, okay, right now we are moving, so we are technically doing something, but it's a step towards being. We ideally could find a world, a life of equal doing and being, equal action and stillness, meeting back in tabletop when you're ready. This time, tuck the toes. You're going to sit back onto the heels, opening up the fascia of the feet. And again, just shaking out the arms however you need to. That's finding rolling your shoulders and staying here for a moment. Really let that weight drop onto your heels. Just as our neck holds up our head, our feet hold our entire body. So we've got to show them some love. When you're ready, inhale, arms rise up. Palms face in towards one another. Exhale, we're going to bring the right hand in front, left hand behind, twisting over to the left. Really twisting at the core. So taking your mind's eye down to your belly and let that be the spot that you're twisting in. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, swapping sides, twisting over to the left. Noticing if it feels a little different on each side and keeping your mind away from your feet. Inhale, arms rise up, palms active, facing each other. Exhale, opening to the left. Right, left. Oh my God. You can tell it's Sunday morning. Inhale, arms rise up. One more time, open to the right. Knowing that any discomfort is momentary. Everything really is momentary. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Gently untuck the toes. Great work. And pat them out. So tapping the tops of the feet. Nice job, you guys. Walking the hands a little bit in front. Tucking the toes. Starting to lift the hips off the ground. Finding our first down dog. But don't push yourself here right now. Just pedal out the feet. We're opening up the backs of the legs. We've just had them folded for quite some time. So don't be surprised if they're quite tight. Bending the knees, look to the hands. We'll step up to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Feet are hip width distance apart. Working to get our hips above our heels. So you might feel like you fall forward a little. Use your toes to keep you steady. Bringing the navel to the spine. Activate the feet. So you're pressing down into the mat, turning on the legs. It's actually going to give you a little more space in the hamstrings to fold. Crown of head towards the ground. Holding here. This is actually an inversion. It's the first inversion in yoga. Learning what it is to feel upside down, at least in our upper body. Inhale, find halfway lift. So what we're finding is a nice straight spine, wherever the hands land, perhaps on the shins, maybe on the knees, whatever you have to find that nice flat spine. Before exhale, folding forward again. And finding whatever variation you need, perhaps grabbing opposite elbows, gently rocking side to side. Really encouraging that head to drop. Let gravity do the work here. You might feel it like I do in the back of the head. So the neck is quite tight. Let the jaw drop. Sometimes you need to shake your head back and forth to really let everything just hang out. Beautiful. Bending the knees slightly, turning on the legs. Inhale, we're going to roll all the way up, nice and slow. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands to heart center, moving into Tadasana. So slowly, the more we do this, the less I will cue. Tadasana, mountain pose, arms extend. I'm going to face you either side of you. Feet are hip width distance apart. Shoulder blades come up, back and down the back. So we're finding space again in the neck. Navel comes into spine. Pressing into the mat, turning on the legs. Active pose. This is the mountain. You are sturdy in a way that if someone came to push you over, if there was someone there, I'd tell them to try. You would be still. You are strong and steady. Earth. Beautiful. Inhale, arms come up, keeping that lower body and core engaged. Perhaps extending the eyes towards the hands. And exhale, folding forward. This time, bend the knees as much as you need to get your hands flat on the ground in front of your feet. Crown of head reaches towards the sky, the ground. And perhaps you can straighten the legs just a little more, keeping the hands connected to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Find that nice flat spine. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. We'll step back to our high plank, but option today, just lower the knees. Sunday morning. Navel into spine, wrists stacked under the shoulders. Holding here for a moment. It's a little harder to do Chaturanga with the knees on the ground because we're going to shift the weight forward, bend the elbows and lower all the way to the ground. Beautiful. Engage those elbows so they're magnetizing towards one another. Engage the legs, tops of the feet planted down. Inhale, lifting the chest forward and up. Perhaps exhale, pressing all the way into the arms, extending them, finding up dog. The thighs lift off the ground and we're just on the tops of our feet. And exhale, coming into your down dog. I'm going to take my socks off. So stay in your down dog. Pedaling out the feet. Pedal, pedal. The hips are the highest part of this pose. And remembering that the practice is about opening up the body, connecting your mind with your body, connecting your mind with your breath. Finding stillness when you're ready. Bend the knees, look to the hands. We're just going to step the right foot up to where the right hand was, dropping the back leg. And we're finding Anjaneyasana, Crescent Lunge. Inhale, arms come up. And so we're working here to have a right angle in the front leg. And we're opening up that left hip. Option here, I don't feel like it today, so I'm not going to do it. But if you want, keep the arms nice and extended. I'm going to keep my hands at my heart center this morning. So here, bringing our attention to that back hip, exhale, gently dropping in. Gently dropping forward. pressing into the right foot heel. That's going to turn on your right glute, and really using your feet to stabilize you in the pose. Again, perhaps each inhale you lift a little in your ribs, lifting up out of your hips, finding space in the upper body, and exhale, dropping, opening that left hip. Another option here, interlacing the hands at the base of the spine, sending them down your back leg, opening the chest to the sky. And exhale, we're going to bring our hands forward, walk that right leg out to the edge of the mat, and we're finding lizard lunge. And so lizard lunge options, lift, tuck the back toes, lift the back leg, and just find some small circles, working out where maybe this gives you a little more room to drop into the left hip. Or perhaps you like the back leg down and the elbows and forearms come to the ground. Just for your reference, in case you're not familiar with lizard lunge. So it's on the outer edge of our shoulder. Or perhaps it's just hands on the ground, chest lifts up. Find what you need today. Coming back to the breath. And I can hear in my mind, some of you are saying, this isn't as relaxing as I thought it would be. It is important to get ourselves moving, and opening up our muscles sometimes is a little challenging, but that's okay. That's how they get more and more open. A few more breaths here. Beautiful. Wherever you are, starting to shift the weight into your back leg, walking it in your hands backwards, and walk that right foot in just a little so your legs are again hip width distance apart. And we're finding a half forward fold here. So the right toes come towards the right knee. And we're hinging at the hips to fold forward. Again, trying to keep that nice straight spine. A little harder without blocks. Ideally, we've got blocks for our hands, but we do what we can. Nice work, you guys. And exhale, plant that right foot down, tuck the back toe, lift the back leg. And we're opening up into side angle pose. So really rotating that back foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. The right leg is still in that right angle. Option to bring your right forearm to the thigh, the right thigh, and the left arm reaches overhead. Inhaling here, really active legs here, and reaching through the left side body. So we're opening up. We've just opened up that left hip, now we're opening up the ribs, the back. Great work. See if you can drop just a little further in that right leg. Keep that back left leg active, nice and straight, and breathe into those left ribs. Beautiful. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Great work, you guys. We're going to bring both hands in front of us, and the right the right foot's now parallel to the top of the mat. So you're sideways, and we're gently folding forward. We're finding a wide-legged forward fold. So toes are slightly inverted, so coming in towards each other just a little. Crown of head drops to the ground. Catch your breath. Noticing perhaps what thoughts have been coming up. They're all okay. There's no right or wrong. knowing you're here to be with you in your body at this time, in this moment. Everything else is transitory. Beautiful. Gently rotating that right foot back to the top of the mat. Both arms will frame that front foot, shifting the weight into the front foot. Left foot comes up to under the left hip. So we're in our forward fold again. Now notice here if your right leg and left leg feel a little different. Because we've done very different things with them just now. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bending the knees. And this time we're just going to send that right foot straight back. Drop that right leg. Inhale, arms come up if you'd like. Anjaneyasana, Crescent Lunge. Hands come to heart center. If you'd like, or keep them up. Again, shifting those ribs out of the hips and then dropping further into that right hip. Noticing if it feels a little different on this side. Really encouraging them to open. And exhale, both hands come down. Oh, sorry, we can come back up if you'd like another option, opening up the chest space by interlacing the hands. Otherwise, moving back into your lizard lunge, so both arms come down, walking that left leg out a bit and finding what variation you need on this side, perhaps lifting the back leg. Perhaps forearms come to the ground. And always coming back to your breath. And we're going to start to slow down again. Beautiful. Now walking that left leg in a little, shifting the weight into your back leg, finding your half-legged forward fold. Active toes here coming towards the knee. And exhale, we'll find our side angle pose again. So rotate that back foot. Left arm comes to left thigh. Right arm overhead. Working to get the upper arm in line with the ear. And breathing into the right side body. Beautiful. Exhale, coming down to frame the front foot. Untuck the back foot. So it's on the ground. We're walking that right foot ankle over to the right hand, dropping the knee, finding pigeon. Now this is half pigeon, and if it's too much for you, option, I think I should go this way, option to bring that right knee up to the right hip and then fold forward. So it's up to you what you need. I guess the biggest part here is to keep a right angle in the front foot. So we're not putting pressure on the knee. Coming back to your breath. Starting to notice what's holding on. Are there any muscles that are really tight? Can you take your breath there? And just let gravity do the work. This practice helps us tune in to what's happening inside us every day. Tuning into our fears, our thoughts, tuning into tension in the body. Our body is always speaking to us. It's whether or not we can hear it. And most importantly, tuning into our breath. A few more breaths here. Gently lifting up, and we'll just drop the weight over to the left. Swapping sides. So right leg comes to the front. Option to send that left leg back, or if you'd like to keep it in line with your left hip. And again, keeping that right angle in the front leg. When you're ready, finding some stillness. Again, doing a quick body scan. What muscles are holding on? Where can you breathe into? Our hips, what we've been opening up, they are our second chakra. The color is orange. They are our creative and sexual center. It's where we store our emotions, particularly of relationships. And the element is water, fluid. Beautiful. Gently, when you're ready, coming up by shifting your weight over to the right. And we're going to move onto the ground, lowering all the way. Nice work, you guys. We're going to start with finding bound angle pose while we're lying down. So Stupa Bandha Konasana, I think it's called. Right arm on your chest, left arm on your womb. That's what I'm going to call it. Palms of feet together, and knees drop out wide. Now, if there's too much pressure here in your lower back, option to grab your blanket or your bolster and to pop it under your chest, so there is less. So taking a moment to find your breath, noticing if you feel it more in your left or right hand. And really letting gravity do the work with your knees. Letting them drop a little closer to the earth with each exhale. A few more breaths here. Beautiful. Gently bringing the knees in together. Now, if you did have something under your back, just removing it. We're going to bring our knees towards our chest, hands on the knees, and just find some gentle circles. And the other way. Beautiful. Bringing them nice and close now, wrapping your arms around your shins and pulling them a little closer, giving yourself a nice hug. Perhaps gently rocking side to side, massaging the lower back. And bringing your hands now to bring your arms to the inside of your knees, and your hands are going to grab the outside of your feet. I hope that makes sense. Have a look at the screen if you need to. And then we're going to press the feet towards the sky, opening up the knees so we're in happy baby. Happy baby. One of my favorite poses, a strange one to do in public, though I do it all the time anyway. So at the same time, we're kind of gently pushing up towards the sky and pulling our feet down further to open up the hips. Take your breath all the way down to the base of your spine. And perhaps gently rocking side to side here as well. And exhale, we're going to lower the feet down to the mat. Feet come to the, actually let's go straight down. We'll go straight down to the outer edges of our mat. We're moving into Shavasana. So if you have a blanket or something to cover your eyes with, feel free to grab it now. Palms face up, rolling the shoulder blades under the chest, opening up that chest space. And again, if there's too much pressure on your lower back, option to feet come up onto the mat and knees drop in together. Otherwise, starting to close the eyes over. And connecting with your breath here. With each exhale, you gently relax a little more, melting into your mat. Feel the strength of the earth beneath you. holding you up. It's always there. And Shavasana is all about surrender. Surrender of the body and surrender of the mind. It is preparation for death. It is the end of the practice. Knowing that life and death is one and the same. With each death comes new birth. With each inhale comes an exhale. Every moment, the start of one and the end of another. And trust yourself here. Nowhere to be, nothing to do. Just breathe. Noticing the mind wander. And let each thought float away. Like a cloud in the sky. You notice it. And it gently passes you by. Bring your mind to your breath. Feeling the complete inhale and complete exhale. Perhaps resting at the top of the breath. Or the end of the breath. Just notice, what do you need? And when you're ready, you'll gently start to deepen the breath. Finding whatever movement you need in your fingers and your toes. Perhaps reaching up overhead. Rolling over to the side, keeping your eyes closed. Now, because we're online, if you want to stay in Shavasana a little longer, up to you. When you're ready, making your way to a comfortable seat. Again, with your eyes closed. Bringing your hands to heart center. Noticing how you feel in your body. And taking a moment to revisit the intention you set at the start of class. Give yourself a really big pat on the back or whatever little present you can for practicing today, because it really is an act of self-love. I thank you so much for sharing your practice today with me and with each other, and the light in me sees and loves the light in all of you. Namaste.